What if there was a way to speed up your weight loss results and improve your health? Most healthy weight loss professionals do suggest losing, about 1 to 2 pounds a week for sustainable results, which I typically do agree with. But also understand this can be frustrating because, you've made an effort, you've made all these dietary changes and maybe increased your activity just to lose a couple of pounds. Well, I have good news for you. Maybe great news, because you can speed up, possibly even doubling your weight loss results by making this one shift. Move your eating window earlier. And what I am talking about is say hello to the early bird special. Hi, I am Bonnie London, and it is my mission to provide you with the simplest tricks to reach your weight and health goals without the pain and effort that I endured during my teens and 20s. I really struggled to manage my weight along with a metabolic condition called PCOS. And I was really overwhelmed by all of the misinformation and different crazy diet stuff out there. And finally, I did discover that there are diet and exercise strategies that can and do work that to maintain your preferred weight. And guess what? That was 20 years ago. When you eat matters. This has something to do with your circadian rhythm, which is like a biological clock contained in every cell. Looking through an evolutionary lens, which I like to do, it has only been about seconds on the clock that we have had access to the artificial light, allowing us to eat late at night. Maybe about 150 years out of the 200,000 years that we've been in existence as Homo sapiens. And it makes sense that we have evolved to eat when the sun was up and you could see what you were doing. And it turns out that this actually is true. It has been demonstrated in recent research that our ability to digest and process food is just better earlier in the day. And then we can look to the Mediterranean diet, which is definitely one of the most well-studied and considered to be still one of the healthiest diets in the world. And traditionally, they have eaten their largest meal of the day at lunchtime, hence fiesta, siesta, those 2-hour lunch breaks. This is in stark contrast to what we got going on here in the United States, where lunch is just something that we have to get through to get to the rest of the day, leaving many people over consuming calories exactly when they do not need it before bed. What are the steps that you can take today to turn up the metabolic switch? Number 1, shift your consumption of calories to earlier in the day. You know the quote, breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. I did say eat in there. Most people, in fact, actually eat about 1,000 calories less than they need before 6 o'clock at night. And then they eat about 1,000 calories more than they need to eat after 6 o'clock. So what you really want to do, I suggest, is consider lunch the meal that you're going to really want to pack your nutrients in to support your goals. Maybe even sitting down. Please, no power bars, nothing in the car. Dinner, on the other hand, if you're going to eat it at all, should be a lighter meal where your goal could be to relax, connect with your family, your friends, and it's not about eating your entire allotment of calories for the day at that one meal. Now, the second suggestion is to consider the eating window of maybe somewhere around 8 to 10 hours. So in other words, if you eat breakfast at 10, you would be done with dinner around 6. Now, a lot of people in this country have an eating window upwards of 12 to 15 hours. So listen, you don't have to make this change overnight. You can do it slowly, even, moving that breakfast up an hour, and maybe dinner, make it earlier a little bit if you can, an hour. I know sometimes that can be challenging, but you get the idea. And you don't have to do this 7 days a week. Even doing it a few days a week can have benefits, because we need to make this work with our lifestyles. Otherwise, it's not going to be a long-term strategy. Number 3, and this is, consider to go to 2 meals a day. And I have many people doing this successfully, and it's a lot easier actually just thinking about 2 eating opportunities versus 3 or even 5 or 6 with all the snacks that a lot of people have. So brunch might be at 10:30, and then dinner you eat at 5 with no snacking in between. Now, I am not talking about calorie intake here, but understand that most people will naturally end up consuming less without thinking about it, having less meals. And these 2 meals can really help with your relationship with insulin, one of the most important hormones relative to trying to lose weight and also storing energy, as it is the energy storage hormone. And I suggest, again, if your diet is completely different than this right now, and you're doing 3 meals and multiple snacks, what you might want to do, number 1, is to eliminate those snacks first. And then, as I mentioned, slowly move the meals closer to where breakfast is now closer to lunch, where eventually it just becomes, kind of 1 meal. And finally, number 4, you still need to consider about what you eat, because what you eat still matters. If you're hungry, this is really going to be difficult and not help you achieve your goals. So try to focus on, in the couple meals, getting in the requirements that you need, specifically for protein, which is about 1.6 grams per kilogram of ideal body weight. Certainly include plenty of vegetables, a couple of cups at every meal, moderate amounts of healthy fat, and absolutely you could add some starchy carbs like rice, pasta, bread, but you really want to take in mind your level of activity, because that will really affect your body's ability to utilize those starchy carbohydrates. And finally, if you have been struggling to reach your weight loss goals, or it's not happening fast enough, this really could be something to consider when you are eating what. So really think about, like I mentioned earlier, the early bird special. They could be on to something. If you have found this video helpful, I would love you to like, share, and of course subscribe to the channel so you can be notified of every video. And also, if you would like to know what a personalized plan would do for you, I would love to speak with you, and there is a link in the description below to book a no-cost call. Okay, see you in the next video.